Hello, love. Welcome to Shamanic Heartspace. I'm Nancy. How are you doing in your part of the world? It's very hot over here in the Peruvian rainforest. This episode, I'm going to be talking about the Leo new moon that's coming about or peaking the 16th of August 2023. So I hope that you find this helpful. If you are returning, thank you so much for being here. And if you are new, also thank you so much for being here. I welcome you with open arms. Just want to let you know that I'm not an astrologer. I receive channeled messages about the energy every new and full moon. I sit down and tune in so that you can make the most of the opportunities and energies that are headed our way, and also get a heads up around how you might be feeling or why you might be feeling a certain way, so that you can be as conscious as possible about your behaviours and your reactions. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. This is a collective general reading, so not everything is going to land with you. And the most important thing really is to see what messages come through for you, because when you're tuning in here, you're opening up your own channels. So yeah, see what comes through for you. If you like this episode, please consider following and subscribing. I want to say happy birthday to all the Leos out there, and let's get started. Okay. Just centering myself. I like to do this by closing my eyes, taking some deep breaths. I like to feel my feet on the ground. And also I tend to yawn when I'm channeling, so hope that doesn't make you yawn too. Okay, so getting lots of fast images coming through. So this is a really, I'm going to use the word dynamic energy. There's a lot of creativity. So this is a great time, to get creative in whatever way, shape or form that resonates with you. So yeah, this is kind of activation that is waiting to take place, and by connecting the hands with the heart is what I'm seeing. It's going to help with that activation. So some people say that the arms, the hands are an extension of the heart. So that's why creativity, or one of the reasons creativity can be so important to us. Taking what is in the heart and making art, making other things, getting that thing done, getting that website built, whatever it is. So hopefully many people will be feeling kind of inspired and motivated by this energy. This is a time to shine your light and consciously spotlight, that's what I'm seeing, your joy. So whatever brings you joy, focus on that, lean into that, especially now. Of course, that's likely to be an important message for any time, but there's just a lot of opportunities around that at the moment. So if you can make the space to be creative and be joyful, it will be magnified, 1,000 times. Alright, so there's some really huge upgrades taking place. So by upgrades, talking about, the only way to say it is DNA upgrades. Let me see if I can get a better read on that. So this is always shown to me by, I see an image of souls really lighting up, and I can see them like rising, feet not touching the planet anymore. So it's like we've got a lot of DNA within us. It seems to be particularly down the middle, the spinal column, from what I'm seeing anyway, that it's kind of not being used. So through this action of creativity, help to tune in with that, activate that. And sorry, trying to disguise a yawn there. Yeah, and with that, unlocking levels of within yourself to take you to better places within yourself. So that's quite a lot for the human body to deal with. So with that can come maybe confusion, feeling lost, and that's good. That means you're paying attention, because if you're in that sort of place where you don't know what to believe and you feel like you're going a little bit off the rails in some ways, that can really mean that you're paying attention. There's two messages coming through to me at once. Let me just finish with this message first. Thank you. Yeah, so with what we're gonna use the term ascension that's happening, the growth that's happening. It can just feel confusing. So please don't drive yourself mad about that. Don't worry too much. If you need to, reach out to some other like-minded souls. You're not alone in going through that, and everybody on the path, so to speak, will know what you're talking about and what that feels like. Okay, so what was the other message? Concerning the there's more discussion around UFOs, and really, I don't even know if you call them UFOs anymore. Living out here in the jungle, I don't really have much contact with the outside world. But maybe people on the planet are calling them something else now. That's the impression I'm getting right now. But anyway, hopefully you follow what I'm saying. UFOs. So there's a lot more coming into public discussions that maybe as humanity we've been primed for. So that should be interesting to see if anything comes of that. Also, just being aware of distraction tactics. This is why it's really important to get centered within yourself so that you can follow your own guidance, because there is a lot of energy around that wants to take us off track. So by staying in your heart, following your joy as much as possible, staying centered. So I'm not talking about bypassing, but staying centered and grounded, you can discern what you believe to be truth and what you don't believe to be truth. Okay. So this is a very fertile time. So I'm seeing that practice of scorching land to make it fertile. This is a bit of a trigger for me, because every time I leave the Amazon and go back in, more of it has disappeared. But there is a practice of scorching land to make it more fertile. That's not always a bad thing. But this is a metaphor essentially for what's going on in people's lives, some people's lives. So maybe having to burn a few bridges, cut back, do the weeding, trim a few dead heads to make fertile your land. Okay, so yeah, that's not always easy, but just know that you're supported in that. You can't move forward with your old baggage, and you can't have growth with all the weeds and dead stuff around. Yeah. Okay. So This is a message about uniqueness. There is only one you. There will only ever be one you. So don't hide your light, your essence. It's not really a surprise, I guess, that this is coming up around Leo time, but I also don't think it's a new message. We've been building up to this for a couple of, I'm going to say moons, because that's when I sit down to do the channeling, but this has been a strong message about the solar plexus, and a reminder that the world needs you as you are. You are a vital part of the great mystery and how it's unfolding. So really shine your light. Yeah, light the whole house with your light. Light the whole street. Light the whole community, you know. And of course, this doesn't mean to be coming from ego. That would indicate an insecurity. But more, this is concerned with your authentic self. Not needing to show off. Okay, so that's the shadow side to Leo, for sure. But you don't need to overcompensate or show off or anything like that. But just being you, you're shining your light. You don't have to shout about it. You don't have to virtue signal, nothing like that. But just from an authentic and true place in your own heart. And that can take some practice. A lot of people have been conditioned, or that has been conditioned out of them. And there's a lot of fear around standing out, being different, being judged, all of those things. But also remember, you don't have to convince anybody of anything. You just do you. Yeah, so that might take a bit of processing, a bit of understanding. And, you know, cry it out if you need to. Tap it out. Get some support if you need to. Okay, so also, there's some disturbances in the general frequencies. Like spikes and then lows. Seeing it as the Aurora Borealis. This is mysterious for me. Okay, so this could be referring to energy around the outside of the planet, which affects us all the other way around. Our spikes and troughs in energy affecting the field around. I mean, either way. So this could be making it difficult to hear your own inner voice. So what needs to take place here is taking care of yourself, taking care of your energy. You can do this by, you know, setting time aside every day where you're going to turn the phone off, or where you're going to meditate or do yoga or whatever. From a place of love, from a place of joy, not from a place of, I have to do this. And also, you know, keeping phones out of the bedroom, no screen time, like a couple of hours before bed, Hopefully you're not still watching the news. Yeah, taking care of, this is to do with EMF, electromagnetic frequencies. So our biggest EMF receptor is our heart. It's huge. It's where everything is transmitted and received for us. So there's disturbances. I'm not sure how much of this is on purpose. Don't know where that's coming from, or who that's coming from, or why. But yeah, taking care of your own energy can also help to do things like praying or blessing water and food before consuming. Eating very cleanly. Sugar can affect EMF quite a lot. So those sorts of things that I'm sure you already know about taking care of your energy. And not being around toxic people, places, situations. Additionally, yeah, maybe you've really outgrown something now. And if that's the case, it's time to be brave and step up and step out. I'm seeing an armor of protection. This could be spiritual armor. I'm feeling it. It doesn't feel heavy. It feels very protective. So this is telling me that you are protected in your decisions moving forward. If you do need to make a big decision, it could be quite life-changing actually. It's requiring a lot of courage, but there is definitely protection available there. It's the right thing to do. Almost like not being able to deny anymore who you are or something that's within you that you can't suppress anymore. You can't keep quiet about. You're feeling it, so you've got to take action on it, and the support is there for you. So with that, the question that's come forward is, what are you hiding? Why don't you want to be fully seen? So there's a kind of private energy, wanting to be private, wanting to hide. So maybe processing something, maybe quite a deep process, going through some shadow work, some internal work. But yeah, this question is coming up about hiding. So maybe not taking action because you don't fully feel empowered enough to be seen, not feeling good enough to be seen, and so hiding behind something. Very interesting. So obviously take your time to go through that process. There's the support there in the air, literally, to help you to go through that. Now, you may want to be alone, take your space, gather yourself and your energy. I can help you with that as well if you want to get in touch. All my details are in the show notes. I work with ancient shamanic practices to really go through shadow spaces and peel through layers to see what's going on and integrate that into the current version of yourself. If that's helpful, reach out. I'm working online at the moment, obviously, because I'm in the jungle. Unless you want to come out here, we have a diet going out in October. So yeah, reach out. By a diet, I mean working with ayahuasca and other plants. I've been on this path for going on 23, 24 years. Anyway, you can find all that on my website too. Right, so there's this feeling of almost being ready for something. Almost being ready to take that leap of faith and jump out of the airplane. Almost being ready to take that action. So you'll know when the time is right to do whatever it is that you are going to do. Don't have to force yourself. Just would be a good idea to make the most of this time to pick apart your process. You can trust yourself and trust the timing of your life. So, and also, yeah, remember, you don't want to birth anything too early because it won't be ready. So you can hold your horses, you can take your time, you can process. You don't have to set all the intentions and take all the action because it's a new moon and people say that's the time to ritualize and manifest and whatever they're talking about. You know, there is a rhythm to the universe, let's say, but you also have your own rhythm. So tapping in with yourself, you'll know the truth in yourself if you're putting something off, if you're bypassing, or if it's just not the right time. Okay. So back to that dynamic energy. It feels quite fiery. Not surprising, I guess, as it says Leo at the forefront here. But yeah, so possible triggers, tempers flying off handle. This could be you, this could be people around you, this could be people running countries and all sorts of things. So we have to manage our emotions, our emotional responses, trying to keep that bigger perspective. Interesting. Alright, I'm not really surprised at this. I'm trying to get a timeline on it, and they're showing me between now and December. So, you know, possible cyber attacks going on, weather events, tectonic plates moving, disclosures about things, power struggles. So these are external things that we don't actually have control over, only to the extent that if we keep our emotions and our energies in line, stay in our own lane, remember to be loving and forgiving and compassionate, remove ourselves from fear responses, that is going to be good not only for our own energies but for the greater good. So, you know, we have some element of control. By controlling ourselves, it helps everybody. So, yeah, with this, you might feel like I just can't take another thing on my schedule, on my to-do list. There's just way too much on my plate, on my back. So don't take on any more. See what you can take off of your plate, take off of your to-do list. So this is all connected in with a kind of a disturbance, an EMF disturbance. And you might be planned up to the hilts. your schedule and all of that, even down to when you're going to have fun and when you're going to sleep. You can expect that not to go to plan. So maybe if people out there who are relying too much on a plan, this is to help them to live more in trust. Yeah, again, back to that, controlling the inner, inside levels. So, of course, that means inevitably, on a personal level, something expected could come through. Cannot label this as good or bad, but it's a setting free. So something expected does arrive into your life. There's the freedom that will come from that, and more clarity will come from that unexpected, whatever it is. So like a structure coming from chaos and mess. So maybe you think about maybe before any kind of project or creative endeavor, there's a big mess and everything needs to come together, and it will come together at some point. You just have to let the process take care of itself. So yeah, chaos, mess, all the bits all over the floor, the puzzle pieces scattered everywhere, the project that hasn't been birthed yet. But somehow a turn of events will help to bring that together. Equally, unexpected developments. I mean, pretty much like there's just so much more to come, more to be revealed. Yeah, so on one hand I'm saying don't rely too much on a plan, But on the other hand, I'm saying that your plan is coming. So the lesson here seems to be about embracing the chaos or the nothingness for now, because maybe a new opportunity or direction is coming through. So if you're too fixed on something now, just relax a little. It's time to be a little bit more flexible, to be open to possibilities, open your mind. Yeah, because there's big things coming that are gonna blow your mind. So really not being too rigid. Seeing if you can just be playful. And yeah, not too intense, too fixed. That word fixed again is coming up. So if you need to, I realise this is going to be quite triggering for some people, because some people rely quite heavily on knowing what is going to happen, and brings about anxiety to just leave things open. So just take your time with yourself. It is a process. If you need to just take one day at a time or 1 hour at a time, and you can do that by really coming into your heart. Breathing practices, yoga practices, movement. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Even just having a routine in the morning or in the evening. Feel what is in your own heart. Because maybe some things need to release. If there's anxiety there, if there's a need for control there, that's coming from something in the past. So finding ways to let the past go, free yourself from that. Also seeing others from your own heart space. But begin with seeing yourself from your heart. Your heart knows who you really are. But if you are anxious about yourself or how other people are feeling about you, those sorts of things, let's do some purification in the heart space. The heart is how we connect, and not everyone is able to do that right now. It might take some work. We can be quite disconnected from that place. So yeah, a start would be not engaging with negativity, fear. There's only space in your heart for positivity, or space in your life for positivity, unless you're going through a process and you're learning a lesson. But that low grade, low vibe stuff really messes with the heart frequency, and I'm seeing that very strongly now. So we really got to look after the heart, because we pass that energy from heart to heart, from person to person. So it's important to kind of be the master of your emotions. Don't let them rule you. Staying balanced, not getting sucked in with whatever's going on in someone else's drama. Turning off or turning down that ego voice, turning down the colour. And for sure, it's work. It's work. But you can do it. You can do it. And this isn't about ignoring what's inside. Oh, interesting. Okay, so in some ways we're already being prepared for what's going to come up with the eclipse season later in the year. I've already... Oh, wow. Yeah, way back in January, over on Patreon, I channeled all the eclipse energy for this year, so you might want to go and check that out. Plus a little bit more information about what you can expect from this energy. Massive thank you to the supporters, my supporters on Patreon, on Spotify, everybody who follows, shares, likes. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. You give me a purpose. So thank you very much. The next full moon will be a super blue moon in Aquarius. It'll be at the end of August. And yeah, so this means it's going to be super special. So again, if you like this episode and you want some tips and a heads up for making the most of it, make sure you follow and get notifications so you don't miss out, because I don't release podcasts at regular days and times. They come out when the feeling takes me. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure that you've got your notifications on. And also, if you want to develop yourself or on your shamanic path, or you want to work with me one-to-one for clearing trauma or working with plant medicines, maybe consider joining Telegram or the group mailing list. They're both free. I've got lots of opportunities for coming up to work for us to work together in person and online. So you can stay tuned for that. All of that's in the show notes once again. It'd be lovely to connect with you on your journey. It'd be an honour to walk beside you. So thank you once again so much for tuning in. I wish you a really pleasant new moon. Everything's happening for your highest good. And I'm sending you lots of love from my heart to yours. I'm Nancy. This has been Shamanic Heartspace, and I hope to see you soon. Mwah!